So I don't want to hold you guys up. So let's roll.
Okay. Okay. When you put on the schedule PTI, were you talking about, do you want me to go through this PTI menu as far as, what the system offers for produce traceability? Was that kind of like the overarching question?
It was more, the question was more specific. It was kind of drilling into PTI printing capabilities on the pack lines, whether or not we had the ability to print on RPCs, etc. It certainly can't hurt to go from a higher level, but when I posed the question initially, it was really specific to the printing capabilities at the pack line.
Okay.
But I certainly have, it's always advantageous to get a high level overview. Let's do it.
Okay. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. You can see my screen, right? You see the produce traceability interface menu.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. On this, what we did is we created a whole separate menu just to hold everything that relates to doing PTI within the system. So first of all, where am I? First of all, in the company control, there are some options within the company control. They're way back here on the left screen.
Like, whoa.
That says, how do you want to assign the lot number? And are you using PTI? Are you going to use produce traceability? Yes or no? We have kind of started down the path of including some payroll options, but kind of didn't get to finish that, so that there's the beginnings of that. But essentially, the lot number flag says, do you want the source number to be the lot number, meaning the discount number? Do you want the lot number to be user defined, the user has to get in? Or do you want the lot number to be automatically assigned based on an algorithm that's in a lot definition, or lot master file, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So you set the option at the company control level. And then you have the ability to override it at the location level. Hold on just a second, let me check something. Okay. Let's see. So then at the location level, we have some of the same flags. And let me just show you an example here. Again, back several screens. Where you can also override it by location. So you can set the lot number definition or the lot number at the company level, but yet override it by location. So one location wants to do it one way, and another location wants to do it a totally different way. So in your example, if Gevers wants to use one naming convention and Chelan Fruit wants to use another, the system can handle that. Then we also created a case label using the TL Ashford. So just like your pallet tag label has a format, we have a case label format. So that would be the format name from the TL Ashford software that would get placed in this area. And then, again, just a hierarchy if you had only one printer at that location. And then we also went ahead and did all the programming for the hybrid pallet tag. But as I understand it, that's not being enforced quite yet. But all the development has been done for that. So at the location, you can have the hybrid pallet tag print as well as the normal pallet tag that the users are used to using for their pallet put away and shipping and everything else. questions so far?
Yeah, I got one. Hey,
Yep.
The
Kathy?
variety
Oh,
master.
oh.
Kathy?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You say that at the case level format, is that to control the printing on the box itself? Like the inkjet?
No, it's not an inkjet. It's an actual label, a 4x3 label
Yeah.
that has sticky on the back, much like your pallet tag does,
Okay.
where they peel off the adhesive and affix the label to the box or to the whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, where am I? Oh, variety master. There's also a way to override the PTI lot number at the variety level as well. We did this so many years ago, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we may have been talking with some clients and said that one variety wanted to do one way and maybe another variety a different way within the same location. So we added a level of hierarchy here at the variety master as well. I think that's it for the variety master. It's just the lot number flag. So the lot number definition, the option 4 here on the menu, is if you said, if you chose the A option, and if you choose the A option, then you get a choice of these particular fields to tell the system what of these, which fields comprise a lot number. So in this example, I've got grower and pack out number. And it does tell you that the lot number cannot exceed 20 characters. And it will kind of give you a little indication here of the total length of the field that you've selected based on your yes/no choices up above. So as you can see, you can use any combination of these fields as long as they don't exceed the 20 characters. We, of course, got the G10 dictionary. You guys are familiar with that, but that's the master file that you create all your G10s, and again, this is just my demo data, so I only have it set to the variety, pack, and size level. And I believe you have yours set up to automatically create the G10, so whenever a new item is entered, then it will sequentially add the next G10 number for you to this dictionary. This is where you can view any of your G10s or manually add them if you need. What was the production line? Let's see, line 1. Oh, production line, you'll see this in a minute. We added options here to control, again, a level of hierarchy for printers, so that I think one of the clients that we talked to at the time we were developing this said that they had 2 different production lines, and at the end of each production line, they wanted a different printer. So this was a way that we can control the printer for the labels by production line. Then we are also able to control or set up printer groups where you can have, let's say, how do I explain this? Maybe you have a certain area in your production plant where people are packing, the tray pack apples, let's say, and you have the size, 88 next to the size 100s, next to the size 120s, and maybe there's 3 different printers there that you want case labels to print on, and you can point them all to a printer group. Or maybe you have, no, that's a bad example. You would have maybe 3 different drops size 88. And on that printer, you wanted the size 88 case labels to print, so that all 3 printers would be assigned to a printer group. And the methodology here was, again, we worked with a client who, if you picture this at the packing station, they have these little small printers that are wired or affixed to they have this big steel area area that's above the ladies that are hand packing the boxes, and they kind of queue up the case labels to print in those printers, and they're kind of sitting there in memory. So if I'm sitting here at a packing station and I'm packing, you know, the Red Delicious, Western Extra Fancy, size 88, you know, certain label, trout label, I would queue up, you know, maybe 50 labels if that's my anticipation of, you know, what I expect to pack. And as they're packing the boxes, and they just, it's like a peel and present printer where they pull the label off and then affix it to the box, and then as they put the lid on it, and then, you know, just the box goes on its merry way just like it normally does. So that was the thought process of these printer groups, and how this whole case label setup and printing option was created to kind of mimic a packing line supervisor that would come in and say, okay, today I'm going to pack, I'm going to be packing at this location, and I have Golden Delicious. And I know one of my runs is going to be this particular grower, this entity, and we can record packer IDs. And again, the concept here is the packer ID is related to a printer, so this is a station. And at this particular station, I have my tray pack size 88, and I'm starting a pack out number 4 to get packed today, and queue up X number of labels at the printer, so as the gal is printing, then she can just peel and present, and take the stickers off in a and again, this was all built around clients that create the pack out header first, so that they know what they're packing, and then they come into this screen and fill this out and kind of point this label to that packing station so that they can queue up the labels. And I think, Stan, maybe what you were inquiring about was something a little bit more automated, where there was maybe a piece of equipment on the packing line that was actually generating the label and then affixing it to the carton with an automatic, hand or lever or something to that effect.
Right.
Okay.
So you don't.
Yeah, we haven't.
Go ahead.
Okay, we haven't gotten into that. We have some business partners that could work with us as far as the equipment, the printer and the I don't know what you call them, the application arm that actually affix the label to the box.
Right.
But we just don't have a client doing that as of yet.
Okay.
Okay. And then on this menu is just your normal pack out entry and pallet ticket entry. So these are the same programs that you guys use today. We also, once you set up your G10s and your dictionary and you set all your options up as to how you want to assign your lot numbers, then you can run a number 12, and it'll go through the whole history of your system, all your pallets and your pallet files, and assign the G10 and lot number to all the pallets. Now, hold on, let me bring up pack out entry really quick and see if I have, no, I don't have that there. Yeah, and these guys have probably noticed, but here on this particular screen is the G10 and the lot number it shows down in this area. And there's that one key. And just on the screen, your G10 and your lot number. So this example of my lot number is, just as you saw, my grower and my pack out number. So it kind of merged those two together, and it populates this PTI lot number field in the database that's attached to each pallet tag. And you have those same two fields on your, Roy, on your pallet ticket entry format as well. Now there is, much like when Maria was talking about when we went through EDI, the private label, with our UPC codes, we have the same concept for a G10 dictionary. In that, if you have a customer that has any private label product, you can assign their G10 number to that as well.
How does it work if we bring in someone else's goods? Do we have to pallet ticket their stuff going forward with PTI, or would this be what we do? Does that make sense?
Well, we did something for Mariah. You talking about purchase product?
Yes.
We did something for Mariah where we set up a vendor dictionary. I don't have it here in my demo, but it was a hold on just a second. Go to another screen. Okay, let's see if I can get my screen straight here. I go into I believe I go into the G10 dictionary, number 22. And yeah, here's G10 by vendor. And what you can do is you set up your, so here's your vendor number. This is the vendor that I'm purchasing the product from. If you have their manufacturer's ID and then the item code, then what you do is you can assign their G10 number to it. So you're tracking their information.
Got it. Okay.
And so what we did on the purchase order entry screen was that we put controls in place, if I remember correctly, that they can't enter a purchase order unless they have this G10 file filled out. So that then once the fruit is received and they do the receiving and create the pallet tag, then we're tracking, your vendor's G10 information.
Okay. Perfect.
That's cool.
Okay?
Okay.
So that was sample database. So now I'm back over to demo. So yeah, that was number 14. And number 13, create RPC labels was a different format because these were like longer forms. You know how they're kind of like almost like little cardboard cards where they would stick in the slots of the RPCs. And from what I understand, is that some of this is kind of the old format. Now a lot of people have gone to more of the stickers, the 4x3 type sticker.
Yeah, we were using the cardboard till recent. I mean, we still were until just recently. So, but yeah, now we are trying to go more the print and apply, so we can get rid of the person in the middle. So we got that arm that applies the sticker is supposed to.
Okay. Yeah.
Still not working so
So
good.
now, are you,
We need to switch
because I know like
those.
Washington Fruit, they inkjet their Stanford putting all of their information onto the box. Same with Duckwall. I'm not sure. Are you guys doing that on your apples and then maybe needing something different on your cherry line?
Well, the corrugate box we do inkjet printing. So
Okay.
the corrugate boxes are done that way. The RPCs are not. So an RPC is where you do a print and apply. So you print it and then have an arm that would affix that to it. We want to be able to do actually both, so that is because we mix corrugate and RPC on the same line. So we need to be able to do both on each line.
Okay. So you say you do have an arm that is applying the label to the RPCs now, or that's what you'd like?
We have one system that does that currently, and it works okay. We're looking at, we need to do that for all our lines. We had bought a solution that's not working so well, so we're looking at another vendor as well that can do both.
Okay.
So
Okay.
but this is neat. I mean, looking at it in some respects, we bought some software that basically does the same thing, but would have been good to have maybe tried this out a little bit. But anyway, all good.
Okay. Well, it's here.
Okay.
Right here. We can modify it or delete it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's basically what I have on PTI. Does that cover some of your questions?
Yeah, I think you hit everything that we kind of were questioning about PTI specifically, so we're good that way.
Okay. Then the other item that you all had, and I merged these into the same session, was you had said you wanted to reduce the receiving ticket, leave the receiving ticket project.
Correct.
Hey, Kathy, when I was around the first couple of days out in the warehouse, I heard the term football a couple of times, so I had to stop somebody and get an explanation. Roy gave me a pretty good explanation, and I spent some time with Dan Parasol. And this is a step. The design document that was done a few years back would be a step in replacing or augmenting that whole process. So I know that Johnny has a desire to do that sooner rather than later.
Okay. So you guys want to walk through that design document? Because I found it here back from 2010.
That'd be the one.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's kind of go through it and talk about it a little bit and make sure we're still thinking the.
Kathy, I guess the first question would be: Is there anybody who's doing any bin ticket receiving? Barcoded bin ticket receiving in the 4 years it's transpired since.
No.
Okay.
We have some clients that are doing it in other industries. We have a lot of different formats of receiving ticket entry where it is creating, you call it like a little pallet tag, but it's the same concept.
But that's after receiving, not before receiving them.
Right. No. Right.
Right.
It's after receiving. So when it comes in, they go in and they key in the information and it generates the ticket for it then. Okay, so let's walk through this and see, because it's been a while since I looked at this myself. This is what we talked about, about 4 years ago, I guess.
Yes.
You wanted to essentially create a new receiving entry screen, and it's kind of like you wanted to set the default for the RF gun for the day. So that way, if I'm the user, I just sign into the gun, it defaults the warehouse and the pool ID. That way a user doesn't have to kind of enter all those things every single time. Allow the user to enter the load by truck, which I think you indicated would be the driver field at that point in time. You wanted them to scan a barcode, and the barcode would create, there would be 2 barcodes, you said, grower entity, district type variety sub, and the second barcode would be a bin tag number. So these would be barcodes, Roy, that you would have already generated that would get tagged to each bin out in the field?
Correct.
Okay. So this barcode would already have this data, and we want them to scan this barcode on the bin, on each bin that's on the truck. And then have it create the receiving ticket.
Correct.
Okay, and notice here we have like a lot of defaults, the pack, the quantity, question how receiving ticket number, increase receiving ticket, print and no print off receiving ticket.
Right.
The receiving ticket number in the archive, they can write it down.
Right. The thing that has been brought up multiple times is, well, what if one of the tickets blows off on the way into the warehouse? And so we needed a way to be able to print out and apply one of those barcoded ticket to a bin if it got blown off. I think
If it got blown off, then you'd need a way to manually enter that.
well, that or
create a ticket number.
yeah, right. See, as an example. So here's the fun part. We look on this truck of 60 bins, and there's 2 that happen to be missing, and they're sequentially in order. We'll just say. So we'd want to be able to reprint those tickets for those bins, because not only are we receiving with this barcoded bin ticket, this is also going to be the barcode we scan to go put them away in the rooms and build the room mats. So every bin needs to have a bin ticket.
While we're talking, I'm going to make some notes.
Okay. Now the system already is capable of once it has a barcoded bin ticket on it, you can scan that bin ticket and scan it to a room, and it builds a warehouse map, if I remember correctly. That's true, correct?
Build the warehouse map. Yeah, you have to have the warehouse map locations already set up. And
right.
Yeah, you can put that scan into a. Well, that would be a receiving ticket, though.
Okay.
Let me verify that before I answer too quickly. I'd have to verify that.
Okay, but that's what we want. Essentially, what we want it to do is, I'd like it if it could maintain the same. That's why we were having the unique number on each bin, so that we receive it with that. So we scan it to receive it into the system. But once we've received it in the system, that also then becomes that bin's license plate number, just like we do at Precise. So once we've done the Precise bin, we stick that that ticket that's coming across from off. But anyway, we print it, apply it, it's in the system. The forklift, so the flow would be truck comes in, someone runs out to a scan gun, scans them all in, that goes into the receiving. Then truck drops them, forklift comes over, scans that bin license plate, barcoded number, takes it to a room, scans it to that room, so it stores it in the room. We build a warehouse map off of it. And then we also even talked about taking it where the bill of material would include so many bins of apples for our production runs. So then you go pick up those bins, scan those bins to that production run as usage. So you maintain the traceability of that product. Simple, huh?
Yeah. Okay. I think here we kind of got into, receiving ticket print, what it looked like, in a new bin tag format.
Who does this?
Here it is. That missing ticket that will scan a barcode that will contain a dummy grower entity and subvariety. This is what we said back then. Once the missing ticket was located, they would fix it, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know if you'd want to do any of this anymore.
All right. Done that.
He's thinking.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think we would. Yeah, I think we would. If they located it, of course, if they didn't, I don't know. I would. We would probably need to walk through this one iteration with some of the folks that actually come in from the orchard side once we can get them to sit down and talk with us a little bit.
Okay.
To make sure, because we may just at that, the decision is, okay, do we want to wait and find the missing ticket, or do we just generate one off of a best guess with the receiving dock personnel and just say, hey, they're probably going to have as good a guess as anybody else. So that's really the discussion. Do we really want to wait for a missing ticket and try and find it? Or do we just say, hey, this is what it is, and create it and print it so we can go stick the thing away and call it good?
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely need to walk through that.
Yep.
Okay. Then we got into receiving other companies' fruit.
Right. Yeah, because we need to be able to receive other companies' fruit, and then we also need a way to trace it too. So if we receive their fruit, and then we transfer it out to them. Oh, we actually, yeah. So we need to be able to receive other companies' fruit, or we need to send our fruit to them to pack.
I found these three. And these two I didn't find them. The reason is read the note.
Yeah, we'd have to walk through all of those
Yep.
processes
Right.
in detail.
Yep.
Read it.
We also, at that time, were talking about your QC data.
Right.
To attach that to the tickets in the I-Series.
Yes, we're gonna want to do that.
Actually, didn't use it. Yeah, like
And,
they're looking for more
then
categories.
we also said here, I think because we were thinking that at whatever time you incorporate the raw bins of apples into your bill of materials for production planning purposes, and that means you would have to do all of this on the CFM side versus the warehouse side.
Right. That
And
was.
then that kind of comes to this sentence.
Actually, didn't use it.
Then we need to look at, real-time interfaces and receiving ticket information down.
Right. Yes.
The ability to dump receiving bins using the RF guns when you pack them.
Yeah, because the forklift driver would obviously put it away in a room to create a room map. Would go get them for a bill of material if we include the apples in the bill of material, and then they would dump them on the line,
Right.
both pre-size or commit to pack. Yep.
Right. Okay. The other thing I think that was brought up at that time was Gold Digger. What happens when Gold Digger receives your fruit to pack?
Right. Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so here's the assumptions where we talked about we've done the CFM database, planning, special plan receiving ticket numbers of locations. Current receiving entry allows for multiple growers on the same ticket. Fine. Current receiving entry does not allow typewriting to be changed. Now this one, may have a workaround because we had, actually, Bob Price is asking about a function key to change the district type variety on the receiving ticket. So depending on that, this may change.
Okay.
Or that may be another way to do it so that the users don't have to delete. We just give them a new function key to allow them to do that.
Right.
Then we got into all the specifications, the database and all the programming and such.
Okay. So if we decided we wanted to do this, you could have it done next week, right?
Oh yeah, sure, tomorrow.
Oh, awesome! Even better. No wonder we love you.
Yeah, you know I'm kidding, right?
No, come on.
We'd have to look at our resources and again, like I said, I'd want to work through a lot of these particular things very, very carefully.
Right.
Make sure we understand it all.
Right.
Those
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now is this a hot and heavy item you guys are going to use for some, portion of harvest this year?
This for this year.
This is the one thing that Johnny said he had really interest in. I mean, out of anything.
I think we can get Johnny to do it this year. I've been trying 2 years now. I think he would do it this year.
Not for this harvest season.
So if we wanted it this year, what's your gut feel if we said, yeah, we want it for this year?
I would say that we would have to start right away reviewing, all these details to make sure, number one, that the design is, because we did this, 4 years ago?
Right.
We have to start right away to review it to make sure, design is complete. Do we have everything? Do we miss anything? Is everything in here still as you want it? And once we make that determination that there's no revision to the design,
in August, right?
and do that update, then we have to look at our resources and give you an ETA.
Okay. Why don't you go? I've talked with Johnny about this for a number of years. I know he was very excited when Stan brought it up with him. I think this is something we definitely look at soon. Now we do start harvest here pretty soon, and I'd love to see if we could get this completed where we could use it for as much of this year's harvest to get it kind of some under our belt a little bit. I guess what I'm saying.
Right.
But
right.
So. Tell him to at least look it over and give us back an estimate. Any changes? Yeah. So Kathy, you go for it.
Okay.
Go for the review.
Yeah, the review. Well, obviously she didn't have enough detail to design it, even though she said she'd have it done tomorrow. We love her, but
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll go through the review, and we may need to have some sessions, Roy, with you guys if there's questions.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'll do that then.
Okay.
We'll see the head on review.
Woo!
It is.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think that's all we had for today with PTI and receiving ticket review, unless you wanted to look at anything else that related to receiving tickets.
Anything else you want to know for receiving tickets? Reviews on Word.
Because you guys aren't using receiving tickets now, right?
We do.
You're not.
We do.
You are?
We are.
Okay.
Gebers Farms only.
Apple House.
Oh, Apple House. Sorry.
Okay.
Chelan Fruit is not, but we are. So.
Right. Okay.
I can't remember which format we're using. RAW 1 or RAW 2.
Probably RAW 1.
I think it's RAW 1. So, but yes, we are using them.
Okay. Let's see. You know about the receiving any cargo?
There's some reason we're missing as far as bin checkout, different supplies that go out with bins they want to track.
Okay.
Maybe discuss at some point. Like they put that burlap stuff and they, those kinds of things. They want to keep track of it.
Right.
Not really like us.
Hey, Kathy. Since we got 13 more minutes here, Brooke was just talking with me, and is there in the system? Is there a way to track the materials we send out to the grower? Buckets and burlap, and we're sending stuff out with the bins.
You're sending stuff out, then how do they come back in when you receive the product?
Yeah. So, usually they take a load of empties out to the grower, and those empties have the bins, and then they have usually some burlap and the buckets, and I don't know what else might be going out there. But they've been tracking on a spreadsheet, all those different pieces.
Right.
And it's just not very efficient if you already got a system that can keep track of your bins. It'd be nice if it could also just track the other things that go with it. Because otherwise they're not using the system to keep track of bins. They're using a spreadsheet because they've got to keep track of the other things anyways.
Right. Well, this one has, the empty bin tracking for the actual bin. But the other things, the only thing I can think of is, how Pat, when she was talking about the materials inventory and how you would send, sprays or materials out to the farm, that each grower would be a location.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of, that you would create.
So with that methodology where you're sending it out to the farm with what Pat showed, there isn't really a way to track the return of, or is there?
Did we lose her? Kathy, you still there? Oops. Maybe it's us. Could be us. You still got connectivity? You're not? That's not connected to the white beaver, so. Hello?
I've been listening.
What was going on?
Sounded good.
Hello?
Okay, you're back now. All right, sorry about that. So whatever you just told Mariah, you need to repeat to us now.
I was going to say, I think I was just talking the last 5 minutes to myself.
You were. Well, Mariah. So.
Okay. I was saying that I had a couple of different thoughts, and that, when Pat was describing the materials inventory about when you send sprays and stuff out to the farm, you would handle that with a material, and each grower would be a location. You would handle it that way.
Let me check the
And I had a question just to make sure I understood. You're talking about for each truck that goes out to the field or to the orchard, an X number of bins, X amount of burlap, and X amount of buckets for each truck.
Correct. And it's also tracked coming back in because we do get the burlap in the
You're
bins back.
recording that in a spreadsheet right now by truck?
Yes. Yes. There.
Okay.
And we got to stand and be quiet.
Because I was going to say, in purchase orders, there's a transfer process, and that's what the other clients of ours use when they have their materials inventory, and then they're moving it out to the farms for them to use out there, the different pesticides, herbicides, whatever. But that would be a lot of purchase order transfers to each truck.
Right. I think, that's a good idea, but those are also consumables. You send out a chemical and it doesn't come back to you.
Yeah.
Where with the burlap and with the buckets, they do get returned along with the bins. So I think this would be something we'd probably have to look at in the bin tracking. We add something into the bin tracking that is both out and in.
Yeah, that's what I would, because right now, just the empty bin tracking is just bins.
Okay.
So you can send them out on each ticket, and then, or you can just do a manual entry. Send out, like the beginning of the season, sometimes just people send a whole bunch of them out there. You can do this manual entry, and then as each receiving ticket comes in, you say how many bins were received with production. And then if you're going to send some back out on the same truck, you can do that as well.
Right. Okay. So that's kind of that's the process for us today, other than we also send out burlap and buckets and other miscellaneous items. I don't know if there's anything else.
You know what? Well, this might be a funky workaround. I don't know if this is too corny. I don't know how many types of bins you have, but you could set up a different code for burlap and buckets.
That's true.
It's a good idea.
Hold on, let me bring up the screen. 'Cause
A good idea.
then we would turn off. But then if you did that though, there's an option that when you're entering this particular data to ensure that the bins with production matches the quantity. So if you still wanted to maintain that edit check, then we would have to do some form of programming to indicate, maybe this is a miscellaneous type. It's a burlap or a bucket, not really a bin, so don't include those in the edit. But if you didn't want that edit, the other workaround I would say is to set up another bin type for burlap and another one for a bucket and just say how many came in or how many went back out.
I like that.
Do we do an edit?
I think we need to still do that.
Yeah, we still would need to do the edit, so we would have to make the
That little
change.
program change.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that would work. That's why we pay you the big bucks, Kathy.
I was wondering. Okay. Do we need to include that in this project?
You want to include in the same project? You want to set
Yeah, sure.
Makes
that?
sense.
Throw it in there,
It's a good place for it.
because it ties to that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? You guys used to receiving inquiry?
I think we do.
Yeah, they're using it today.
Yeah, because we try and compare. We try and compare what the orchard says they picked, and we try and compare that with what we say we received.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a cool screen. So look up the filters, restrict to position 2, basically look at it by school, by location, etc.
Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk more about some of this stuff, the estimates and all that stuff. I'll do that Friday.
Okay. Perfect.
About 10.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
No problem. Thank you. Appreciate it.
See you later.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.